So an important thing to think about is that your potential, whatever that might be, your skill potential, your output, is only as good as the environment that you're actually put into. I'm really a big believer of this. And the more that you actually look at it, the more that you will realize that most people are actually pretty good at who they are. It's often the environment that sort of dictates what ends up happening to them. And it might not necessarily seem fair, but it's very much the case that the environment that you're part of dictates what ends up happening to you. And people might sort of say that that's not true or that's not fair and all these kind of things, but just really honestly look at almost everything that you would say is productive. Is there fundamentally or productive or has high performance, whatever, is there something fundamentally different than those individuals? You know, sometimes there's slight changes, slight differences between individuals, but it's often so much. It's the coaching, the management, the mentorship, the organizations, all those things. They're so important that allow somebody to do well or not do well. And I think that's something that we need to remember. So if you don't know me, I'm Professor Dave Massick, Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out, and I want to pay the favor for it to help you out. So I'm the more I've been around, the more I've looked at this, the more I realize that, you know, the environment that you're in plays so much into what you're doing. And an easy example is this. If you grew up, you're just a regular old Joe Blow person, and you grow up in a war-torn country, it's very unlikely that you're going to do anything with that, because you'll reach barriers, you'll reach sort of ceilings, people will knock you down, you'll get things stolen from you, all sorts of different things that are going to happen to you, and you can't get ahead. If you grow up in a country that sort of allows you to prosper, then it's much easier to get ahead, because every time that you make an investment, you don't have to worry about somebody taking it away from you, or you don't have to worry about bad behavior and things like that. You know, the same thing happens in organizations and families, where if you just simply look at how people turn out and what ends up happening with them, it's so important to realize it's all about the surroundings, the environment in terms of what happens. If you feel like you can't get anywhere, or if you feel like that there is no support, then you're not going to want to put in the work. If you feel like that there is somebody that's going to criticize you and all those kind of things, then you really do have a lot of work ahead in terms of what's going to go on. Now, I'm not saying that there is this sort of fight through adversity and all that kind of stuff, and that does go on, right? The opposite effect can happen, where if you are in a not great neighborhood, or in a not great family, you probably can turn yourself around and fight in the opposite direction. It's kind of like a reverse learning effect. But for the most part, for most people, if you're not given the resources, the support, and all of those things that allow you to succeed, it is so hard to actually climb and to get to where you're going to go. So as the individual, though, right, as you, as a person, well, crap, right? Now I'm telling you that the environment plays a significant role. Well, that seems like not great. That seems not so fun. However, there is one way that you can actually change this, and it's actually super simple. Not in the sense that it's going to change a lot, but over the course of a lifetime, you can incrementally chip away at it, like chipping away at an iceberg, right? And the only thing you could do is just try day in and day out, and eventually maybe you're going to get an opportunity thrown your way, and you can try for that. and try for the next thing and try for the next thing and try for the next thing until you actually get to the point where you've actually accomplished something and you moved up from one place to the next, to the next, to the next. I mean, if you don't try, if you give up, that means you're in that environment that is holding you back. And you're forever going to be in that environment that's holding you back. But if you try and you incrementally move your way up, you will get more and more resources. I know it's not an easy story, and I know all of you don't want to listen to that in terms of what it means, because it is a lot of work, and it doesn't really change anything in terms of, what is the right answer, or, what can you do? The answer is just work. The answer is trying. The answer is just keep going. There's no right or wrong in terms of what happens to you, but the only thing that you can possibly do is just keep trying. And you know what? If it doesn't work out this year, you try the next year. And so what if you spend your entire life trying, where when you're 80 years old, you haven't gotten anywhere and things have not changed? Well, you got to realize that at least you tried to actually do something and make a positive difference. And it's unlikely, but it's possible. It's unlikely that if you tried for 80 years that nothing is going to happen. But it's possible. And you just simply have to reflect. It's like, I was the brave person that actually tried every day. And so be it. So, no magic. Just try day in and day out. Keep pushing at it. And some days you'll get those breaks. Some days you won't. And you know what? We all are in an environment that we're in. We can't change that. But what we can change is just trying day in and day out.